What's up, guys? I'm DK, and you're watching Pro Wrestling What If, the series where I look at the different what if scenarios as terms of the world that we call professional wrestling. Seth Rollins would become one of the top superstars in the WWE after turning his back on Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, ending their faction, The Shield. He was Plan B for the Authority and would go on to win the Money in the Bank ladder match later that month and go into a multi-month rivalry with Dean Ambrose. After holding on to the briefcase for multiple months, he would finally cash it in during the main event of WrestleMania 31 between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar, successfully cashing in and becoming the brand new WWE World Heavyweight Champion in the process that was dubbed as the heist of the century. He would have defenses throughout the coming months on various pay-per-views with the likes of Randy Orton, John Cena, and even the Icon Sting. Just when Seth Rollins was having the run of his life, he would unfortunately suffer a knee injury in a match against Kane on November 4th, 2015 during the European tour. Due to the severity of his knee injury, he would be forced to vacate the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, and a tournament would happen to crown a new champion at Survivor Series. The finals would be between Dean Ambrose and Roman Reigns, with Reigns being the one to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. After spending months on the shelf and even missing WrestleMania 32, Seth Rollins would make his return by hitting Roman Reigns with a pedigree after the main event of Extreme Rules 2016 concluded, setting himself up for a match against Roman Reigns at Money in the Bank 2016 for the title he never lost, and we would end up winning it back. Only for Seth Rollins to lose it to Dean Ambrose after he cashed in his Money in the Bank briefcase he won earlier in the night successfully, and it created the moment of all Shield members as world champion in the same night. It doesn't feel that it's already been 10 years since this happened, and it's crazy that 10 years later, Seth Rollins is once again out with an injury just as Survivor Series is about to happen. So I think a lot of people have wondered what the coming months would have looked like for Seth Rollins had he not been out of action in 2015. So that's going to be the topic of today's video. We're going to be discussing what if Seth Rollins didn't get injured in 2015. We're going to be going through this video on a pay-per-view to pay-per-view basis from Survivor Series 2015 all the way until WrestleMania 32 and see what he would have been doing during that time period he ended up missing. And if you end up enjoying this video, don't forget to hit that like button, share this to all your friends, subscribe, and press the notification bell for when future episodes get released, and leave a comment down below about today's topic or suggesting a future topic for an episode of Pro Wrestling What If. Kicking off with Survivor Series 2015, where Seth Rollins would defend the WWE World Heavyweight Championship against Roman Reigns. On the Monday Night Raw after Hell in a Cell 2015, 4 singles matches would occur where the winners of each match would move on to a fatal 4-way at the end of the night. Roman Reigns versus Kofi Kingston, Cesaro versus Kevin Owens, Neville versus Alberto Del Rio, and Dolph Ziggler versus Big E, with Reigns, Owens, Del Rio, and Ziggler winning those respective matches. The fatal 4-way match at the end of the night would determine Seth Rollins' opponent for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship at Survivor Series, which was won by Roman Reigns. Since there's no longer a set of tournament matches at Survivor Series in this timeline, I should discuss what happens to the 3 other participants within those matches. Alberto Del Rio at this point was the United States champion after defeating John Cena to win the championship at the Hell in a Cell pay-per-view. I think that Del Rio's rivalry with Jack Swagger over the title would have started early since they were already working house show matches prior to the event anyways. Dean Ambrose and Kevin Owens was one of the semi-final matches at Survivor Series, and I think that would still happen as a match except with Owens' Intercontinental Championship on the line. Another rivalry that would happen after this event, since Ambrose won the championship in the real timeline the following month at TLC. For the Reigns-Rollins match, the original plans were to have Roman Reigns dethrone Seth Rollins and become the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion. Rollins had already defended the title against pretty much every big name that was available to elevate him, and there was no one left for him to defend besides Roman Reigns himself. Reigns had already begun being built up to that spot after winning the Royal Rumble and unsuccessfully winning at WrestleMania, so it was only a matter of time that he'd become champion. Sheamus had cashed in to become champion at the end of the night, but that doesn't happen here, at least not yet. TLC, Tables, Ladders, and Chairs, where Seth Rollins would challenge Roman Reigns in a TLC match for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. With Seth Rollins' reign having come to an end, he would be getting a rematch at the following following pay-per-view thanks to the Authority. It was also rumored that the rivalry would be continuing after Survivor Series, and since the next event was TLC, it was more than likely it was going to be a TLC match. During the match, both men are throwing punches while at the top of the ladder. All of a sudden, the ladder gets pushed over and the two would get attacked by Alberto Del Rio, King Barrett, and Rusev. As both men are laid out, Sheamus's music hits as he cashes in his Money in the Bank briefcase, making it a triple threat TLC match where Sheamus would climb the ladder and retrieve the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Sheamus's Money in the Bank cash-in is something I think a lot of people thought was a last-minute decision due to Seth Rollins' injury. However, I think that the cash-in was going to happen around this time regardless due to being close to starting the road to WrestleMania 32. I do think Sheamus was going to be successful in cashing in due to WWE not wanting a failed cash-in again, only 2 years removed from Damien Sandow's cash-in from 2013. It would be on the Raw after TLC instead of Survivor Series that we would get the formation of the League of Nations, a stable that in this timeline would become a subgroup within the Authority, just like we saw with the Shield in 2013, as not only it brings members into the group, it keeps the WWE World Heavyweight Championship in it as well, which frustrates Seth Rollins as he questions whether this was a plan made by Triple H since he never received help from the Authority in the TLC match. Kicking off 2016 with the Royal Rumble, where Seth Rollins would compete in the 1 vs. all 30-man Royal Rumble for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Everything that pretty much happens from the end of 2015 to early 2016 would still apply in this timeline as well, having Roman Reigns be able to capture the WWE World Heavyweight Championship from Sheamus that would lead to the 1 vs. all Royal Rumble match. The match where Roman Reigns would have to defend the title, start out as the first entrant, and outlast 29 competitors to retain. Seth Rollins would be given a spot into the match with the Authority, even placing him as entry 30 to give him an advantage to bring the championship back to the faction. With Seth Rollins in this timeline, Triple H would not be a part of the match and win it like he did in the real timeline. At some point during the match, one of the entrants ends up not joining and no replacements would be found in time for the next entry like Randy Savage in 1991. The end of the match would have Roman Reigns be eliminated by Seth Rollins and at that point be crowned as the brand new champion, only for Vince McMahon to come out and announce that a replacement for the one entrant has been found and would now be the 30th entrant. Entering at entry 30 would be the Beast Incarnate Brock Lesnar, who in this timeline had not been seen since ending his feud with Undertaker at Hell in a Cell. The rivalry that got reignited due to Undertaker interfering in Brock Lesnar's match against Seth Rollins at Battleground in July 2015. Just as Seth Rollins would attempt a pedigree, Brock Lesnar reverses and eliminates him to win the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, ending off with Lesnar pointing at the WrestleMania sign while Rollins is disappointed that he once again failed to win back the title. Shoutout goes to Jackson Weingart, Jada Sanchez, Fox Starkiller, Lola Pines, Hayden Sarabo, Skolchin, The Real Samuel Randall 1990, Quiet Ninja Riot, Adam Heb 01, Chris Leon, Wesley Conklin, Kyrese Clark, and Sonic Fanglitchy 4. And the reason that they ended up getting a shoutout is because they joined our YouTube channel membership, which only cost $1.99 a month. Not only do you get the shoutout, but you do get lots of other perks, including early access to every single video and shorts that we produce on this channel. So definitely consider joining our YouTube channel membership. It will be greatly appreciated and it will go a long way of helping out this channel a lot. So definitely consider it, but let's get right back to the video. Up next, we have Fastlane, where I think we would have a triple threat match between Dean Ambrose, Roman Reigns, and Seth Rollins, where the winner would get a WWE World Heavyweight Championship match at WrestleMania 32 against Brock Lesnar. In the real timeline, there was a triple threat match at Fastlane with the exact stipulation. The only difference was that instead of Seth Rollins, it was Brock Lesnar in the match since Triple H was the WWE World Heavyweight Champion. This would give us the dream triple threat match involving all Shield members 5 months earlier than it did at Battleground 2016. Most of us would have probably wanted that match to happen at WrestleMania 32, but plans were set for that event to where that unfortunately wouldn't have been able to happen. happen. The triple threat match that happened at Battleground was for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship that had Dean Ambrose retain and bring the title to SmackDown due to the brand split. However, with this being a title shot, Ambrose wouldn't have been the winner, but it would have been Roman Reigns instead. Prior to Seth Rollins' injury, the plans were to have a rematch between Roman Reigns and Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania 32 over the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, finally being able to have a definitive winner between the two with no cash-ins or involvements whatsoever. Just like the Reigns Triple H match that happened at WrestleMania 32, Roman Reigns would be walking out as the new WWE World Heavyweight Champion and get the win over Brock Lesnar, especially with Brock Lesnar being a part-time superstar and wouldn't have another match until SummerSlam 2016 when he went up against Randy Orton. Let's just hope that in this timeline's match between the two would be much better than the actual match we got 2 years later at WrestleMania 34 over the Universal Championship. After the triple threat match, Triple H would hit Seth Rollins with a pedigree and kick him out of the Authority for once again failing his opportunity. Up next, we have Roadblock. Technically, this wasn't actually a pay-per-view, but rather a WWE Network special that happened on the road to WrestleMania that felt like a pay-per-view. So I thought I would include it in this video with how much would have changed in this timeline for this event. Also, your boy DK was in the audience for this event, so I thought I would bring up Roadblock due to that as well. Here I am, one row before the floor section. You can kind of see during the main event match of Dean Ambrose versus Triple H for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. Speaking of the WWE World Heavyweight Championship, the title would still be on the line with Brock Lesnar as champion since he was already involved in this event when he faced Bray Wyatt and Luke Harper. Just like in the real timeline, Dean Ambrose would be the one to challenge for the title and would give us Ambrose versus Lesnar a month prior to the actual match that happened at WrestleMania 32. With Triple H not being the WWE World Heavyweight Champion in this timeline, I don't think he would have ended up having a match on the card of this rendition of Roadblock. I say this rendition since there was the actual pay-per-view Roadblock End of the Line that took place in December, making it twice in 1 year for Roadblock to happen. Nothing would occur when it comes to Roman Reigns for this event since he was written off the Monday Night Raw after Fastlane from an attack by Triple H and end up returning on the Raw after Roadblock to continue building up for WrestleMania 32. I can see WWE doing the exact same thing with Brock Lesnar as champion due to how brutal the guy can be. Just look back at what he did to Randy Orton at SummerSlam 2016. Now that Seth Rollins isn't injured, he could have been wrestling on the Roadblock card, but they might have also written him off after Fastlane due to what occurred. Perhaps if he does have a match, it'll either be a singles match against Sheamus or a gauntlet match with all members of the League of Nations where if Rollins wins, it'll get him the match he wants to happen at WrestleMania 32. And last but not least is WrestleMania 32, where Seth Rollins goes up against Triple H in a no-holds-barred match. This was one of the most talked about matches that were originally planned for WrestleMania 32 before Seth Rollins' knee injury. Due to the injury, WWE had to pivot by placing Triple H in the rivalry with Roman Reigns over the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. While with Brock Lesnar, after the plans fell through with Reigns, he was going to be in a program with Bray Wyatt that was set up during the Royal Rumble match. Then plans switched again when Bray Wyatt suffered a back injury and management liked the Fastlane build-up to where Dean Ambrose filled that spot to face Lesnar instead. With Dean Ambrose not facing Brock Lesnar, it may have been his originally planned match with Chris Jericho that ended up taking place across multiple pay-per-views afterwards. Now, as much as I would like to keep going with this trend by saying what would have happened with AJ Styles now that he wouldn't face Chris Jericho, the fact is that the WrestleMania 32 card switched so many times. This was due to the amount of superstars that were injured and unable to be cleared in time for the event that made the event lack a lot of star power. The Seth Rollins Triple H match would end up happening the following year at WrestleMania 33 with the no-holds-barred stipulation added to it. The stipulation would have likely applied to this match as well to make it a bit chaotic with interferences involved. Even though the League of Nations would have likely still been booked to face the New Day on the card, they still could have played a part in this match as well. Just like at WrestleMania 33, Seth Rollins would be the quote-unquote Kingslayer and defeat Triple H while also in the process ending the Authority since they already quietly dissolved after the event anyways. Imagine what WrestleMania 32 would have been like if Seth Rollins and all the other injuries didn't occur beforehand. Then check out our video of what if WrestleMania 32 was booked different.